Runners only with Dom Harvey.
Runners only with Dom Harvey and Rich Farrell. The madness! Roar!
That's what they call me sometimes. Right?
How did the nickname come about?
The nickname, well, that goes way back to when I actually started training for strongman. I had a training partner, and it was just me and him and my garage training. And I don't know if you watched WWF with Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and
back in the glory days
back
of
in the glory days,
$1 Million Man.
Mega Powers came together. Macho Man was the madness, and that's just the way I trained when I was a little bit smaller, and so that's how the name came apart. Just because I just keep smashing big weights for a little fella, and it's stuck. And now that's me. Yeah.
Were you a little fella? You're sitting in front. You're the biggest dude we've had in that chair.
Yeah,
Pretty
cozy.
Yeah, it's tight fit. Tight fit. You like no one would ever refer to you as a little fella now. There's nothing small about you.
Nah.
I don't know. I haven't seen your genitals, but
lots of people have, but nah. So my lifting weights journey has been going for about 10 years now. Back in the day, I was a little bit faster and smaller, 10 to 79 kgs. So big contrast from now. But now I'm clocking in currently about 120, usually about 125 when I'm competing, and trying to keep that weight going up a little bit more.
Yeah, right. So where are you ranked in terms of New Zealand's strongest people?
I'm definitely in the top 10. Last year in this competition here, I ended up collapsing at the comp, so I didn't really get very far in that one.
Oh, you just said this competition here. You're pointing to your T-shirt. What does it say? New Zealand's strongest man 2022.
Sorry, 2022.
You collapsed.
Yeah.
What happened?
I went into the comp. I had the flu for the week before, and I was like, no, I'll be right. I'll be right for the day. It got to Friday night. I was just like, oh shit. Okay, one last good sleep, and I woke up. I was like, oh, I'm not feeling good. So I grabbed my pillow and my duvet. I just went to the comp and had a sleep in between each event, and we got about halfway through the comp, and I came up to the deadlift. I don't know if you've seen it online, but I just went down to pick up the weight and just went good night and just passed out, and then ended up in hospital. Just everything went sideways there, so I had to pull out of the comp. It was a 2-day comp. That was just day one. So I ended up coming last, which is 10th place in the opens for that one.
So hypothetically speaking, if I was in that competition, I would have beaten you.
I think you would have had a good chance.
All I had to do is lift a weight and not pass out.
You would have had to complete a few other events before that one, before I passed out. But yeah, I mean, everyone's got a chance. All you got to do is turn up on the day, eh?
So what was it? Did they get to the bottom of it?
It was just a accumulation of things all come together. The flu, I popped all the night and days and the Red Bulls to try to power through, and then overexerted myself, dehydration, and just the body gave out. So yeah, but that was October, and then I had the World's Strongest Man, which was another 3 or 4 weeks later. So I had to do a quick recovery for that one and just basically rested up for 4 weeks before I headed over there, and everything seemed to hold up okay then, so it was good.
Right, where were they?
That was over in Daytona Beach in Florida.
Did you not have a doctor saying, okay, we'd advise you not to go to this?
No, obviously I had to go to hospital, and I got all hooked up on the heart monitor, and they gave me the all clear.
Right.
So, so I got the official all clear, because the missus wouldn't let me lift if they had said no.
So what do you remember about that New Zealand event where you pass out? Got any recollection, or is it just from what you've seen video recorded?
Yeah, I sort of remember it. I went to go lift, and it was, you could see it, and it just slowly got darker and darker to a pinhole, and then everyone was touching me and lifting me up. I was like, oh, what happened here? It was only 300 kgs I was trying to lift. That's not a big lift.
Wow. So it happened sort of slowly, like it wasn't just like, bang, you blacked out.
Nah, I just
slowly sort of faded.
I felt it coming, and I was like, I better get this lift up real quick. And I thought I got the lift up, but I'd actually just passed out. So, yeah.
Oh my God, how frightening.
Yeah, it was a little bit more frightening for my fiance than for me. It's just part of what happens sometimes when you're lifting weights. You do sort of pass out. So yeah, nothing to be worried about.
So these strongman games, what do you do? What happens there? Is it like just conventional weights, or is it like you see on what am I thinking? Like CNN or something, where you're lifting boulders and flipping over tractor tires and things?
Yeah, if you think of anything that's not in the gym, and probably more into your scrapyard sort of stuff, lifting big stones, pulling Big Mac trucks, lifting just awkward stuff and running and carrying it. It's pretty much anything that's awkward to lift is what we do in strongman. Yeah, just to make it a little bit harder.
Whiteware?
That has been in the World's Strongest Man. Lifting.
Is it actually?
They chuck it on a frame and they carry some fridges along and stuff like that. That was back in the days. They're a little bit flasher these days.
Right.
But back in the 80s when it was first starting, they did lift fridges and stuff.
So how often do you move house? You'd be a handy guy to have around when you're moving house.
I have one rule. Is
What's that?
I don't lift unless it's in the gym.
Okay.
Otherwise, everyone wants me to help lift stuff. I have gone around and helped lift a few like pianos and stuff, but that's just a one-off. Yeah.
Yeah. So what does an average day look like? You must be just eating non-stop.
I do put away a bit of food, eh?
Do you? Out of necessity?
Yeah, just out of habit now. Like I said, I've been trying to get big for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And it was hard at the start when you're just 10 to 79 kgs and you're trying to get bigger, so you just got to push that food in. But after 10 years, it's a little bit easier. Probably put away somewhere between 5,000 calories, 6,000 calories a day. Eating every 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but just not like dinner plates.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Slightly small stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's a job. Always got to eat. The missus is good at just making sure I get the food in there on the weekend. She's like, you haven't eaten for a while. Get that in you. You got to get big and strong.
Oh, she's a feeder, eh? She's a feeder. One of them.
Yeah. She's like, you got to be big, strong daddy. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, big strong daddy. What is this? Some sort of weird kink thing? So was there? So you've been doing this 10 years now? Did you say
10 years since
I
started lifting weights.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 44.
Right.
Now.
So you're 34 when you started. Was there a catalyst for starting? Like I'm thinking, I saw a documentary with Mike Tyson, and he started boxing because he was a small boy, and he had that lisp. And he was self-conscious, and he loved pigeon racing. And there was like a bully that ended up killing one of his pigeons in front of him, and he thought he didn't want that to happen again. So he started training to become a boxer so he could stick up for himself. Was there any sort of like psychological reason like that, do you think, that you started like this obsession with being big?
Yeah. Well, I didn't start off with the obsession of being big.
Yeah, because you were quite old when you started, I guess, on the big scheme of things.
Yeah. Like you hear about that strongman strength, that sort of starts at about 30 to 40. So I'm right in the right spot to get big and strong. But like a lot of people that lift weights or go to the gyms, you see them and they're quite dedicated to lifting weights. There's usually some sort of story behind that. So usually it's a mental health issue that's pushed someone into that, and they start lifting weights to have control of something in their life. And lifting weights and eating food is quite a good way to gain control of your life. So my one started back probably like my early 30s. I had not the best marriage. Sort of that came to an end and it just destroyed me. And I sort of lost myself and I got deeply depressed. Suffered from anxiety, depression. Went to a deep, dark place there. And I got to a point where I wanted to take my life. And I tried to, and fortunately that didn't work. Yeah. So I basically started from rock bottom.
Had you before that marriage breakup? Had you been like, how'd your mental health been before that? Mostly okay, or?
No, I had actually been dealing with mental health from about the age of 25.
Right.
With depression and anxiety, which had obviously been before that, but it came right to life at about 25 when I stopped and faced it. And so through the whole marriage, I also had to battle that and compatible, not the best marriage.
Right.
So once I got a divorce and out the other end, it went right to the bottom, And like I said, I tried to do a drug overdose, which didn't work. And when I did that, I had obviously passed out, and I woke up like that, and I was just like, shit's got to change. Like, I've got to make a change from now. And I started right from that moment. Like,
Did it feel like you had a second chance?
yeah, like every man has two lives, and the second life starts when you realise you only have one, and that was that moment for me. And so I was like, I've been stuffing around with this first one. I was like, I have to make the most of my life. So I put the hammer down and just started lifting weights and eating right. And I was, like I said, I was only like 79 kgs.
Yeah.
So it took quite a while, about 3 years to...
79. What are you now?
I'm clocking in at 120 at the moment.
So that's 41 kilos heavier now than what you were then. That's
Yeah.
a lot of blocks of cheese.
Yeah. I like to measure on sacks of potatoes.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like 4 sacks. Wow.
So yeah, I spent about 3 years in what I'd sort of call my recovery stage from that drug overdose, and just building, going to the gym day in, day out. Nothing else mattered.
Suppose it gave you something to hyperfixate on.
Yeah, because my life had fallen apart.
Yeah.
Previously I had a house and a marriage, friends, and over that time of being depressed in the marriage, all that sort of disappeared. I lost everything. I was back to square one. So I had to literally build it up.
How did you lose everything?
Just the messy marriage, and then that spiral of depression, drinking, and then the drugs for the drug overdose.
Yeah.
It just lost it all. Lost my mind, so I lost it all and couldn't hold on to anything.
Oh, did you start getting hooked on like drugs to try and like numb the pain or escape the misery that was your life at the time?
Yeah, because I was drinking as well.
Yeah.
Like at one stage I was drinking 1.5 litres to 2 litres of spirits a night.
Fuck off! Really?
At my peak, and on a day off.
How are you not? Like, how did that not kill you?
I don't know. On my day off, so it'd be like 1/2 litre of spirits.
Oh my God!
I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm just a horse. I can take some punishment. That's why I like training. I like just to give it to myself. So
How's your organs now? Have you been blood tested? Are they okay?
I get the blood tests done every few years, and everything seems to be checked out okay.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah, so
Must have built up a good resistance.
I think so. We might find out when I'm like 70 or 80. It might be a little bit different.
Oh, if you make it to 70 or 80, you'll be doing all right.
Yeah. Well, life's amazing now, so I think I will make it to 70 or 80.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I just built up for 3 years of rehab, just starting small, lifting little weights, and just slightly getting bigger and bigger. And then I just decided, maybe it'd be cool to be like 90 kgs. So I like worked real hard to get up to 90 kgs. And I was like, this is pretty cool. Seeing some results, and then hung there for a little bit. Another sort of year, I was like, it'd be pretty cool to be 100. So I built up to that, obviously getting a little bit bigger and stronger. And that's about where I chimed into strongman. So that was 3 years of training, and I've been doing strongman for about 7 years now. So it's been 10 years since I tried to take my life there. So 7 years of strongman, and I hung around in there's a few divisions, like under 80s, under 90s, under 105, and then open division. So I was hanging around the under 105, sort of lifting it. Then I was just like, if I'm going to do this, I might as well go big. I might as well get to the top. And so I just started to put on the weight to try to compete with the best. Yeah.
What's your relationship like with alcohol and drugs now? Is there any relationship, or are they a thing of the past?
No, I think
you've got it under control now. You managed to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, like I just had beer at lunchtime today.
Yeah.
Like it's no problem. It's when that mental health isn't under control that those things become a vice.
Right, so you're taking them for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. But now, like I said, my life's amazing now. So all those things are under control. I just put those in compartments, and they're dealt with. So I spent a lot of effort, a lot of time and effort on my mental health to get that strong.
Yeah.
And
How did you do that? What did that journey look like?
Originally I started off with a counsellor.
Yeah.
Moved on to a psychologist, and at my peak, or not my peak, my worst time, I ended up with a psychiatrist for about 3 years or something like that. So working quite hard on that, which was all self-funded, unfortunately.
How much was each session? 200, 300?
300 plus.
That's the fucked thing, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's like there's a lot of people that could do really, really well out of therapy, but just can't afford it or don't have the means to.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to
Yeah.
have a pretty good job that I was just holding on to when I was in a bad time that I could afford to do that. It was a lot of money for me, but I could afford to go to these sessions and pay for them myself, because I tried to go through some government funding or something like that, and it just
It's an uphill battle, isn't it?
wasn't there. It was just easier to pay for it myself, and
Yeah.
I thought that was the most important thing for myself, was to make sure I could sort out that mental health. So yeah, thousands of dollars later and years of therapy, I did it. I came out the other side, and every penny was worth it.
Awesome. Glad you did. So I don't know in how much detail you want to go back to this, because it's the darkest moment of your life, but the suicide attempt, what was the drug? What drugs were you taking?
Yeah, so like I just, yeah, I don't mind going back there. It's like it's good to share it with people. I actually haven't shared this with anyone except for my really close circle, which is maybe 5 or 6 people. So it's going to come out now. But I was just in a real dark place. I was living down at Christchurch by myself, and there's a street down there where you can get anything.
Oh, Manchester. No.
Maybe that. I can't quite remember. I can't remember it now, but there's one. I lived right next to it. You know, like you can get sex workers, drugs.
Oh, yeah, that's Manchester. Yeah,
Whatever.
Apparently, allegedly.
So you're here, eh? So you can get anything, and I was just in a real bad space, and I just walked down the street one time. I was just like, "Hey, I just want to get some relief. What shit have you got?" And they ended up taking me into this dodgy house, and ended up being some pretty serious drugs. And just in the state that I was in, I just wanted the pain to end, so it ended up being heroin. And
Was it your first time taking that?
Yeah. I'd never done that sort of shit before.
Yeah. How do you inject or smoke?
Injecting
Right.
it. Yes. And it's just the place I was in, I was just like, oh fuck, let's just do it. And it was only a short time, it was maybe a couple of months, but it was deep all the time. And then it was just anything that could get hold of, any opiates or anything that came along. And if you ask the right questions, you can pick that stuff up pretty easy off the streets. And so it was a pretty hard, fast, dark couple of months there. Yeah, every time I was just wanted the pain to end, and you hope that this time when you go to sleep you
Just don't wake up.
You don't wake up. Yeah. So we just kept on building up and up and up until that last time, which was just a massive dose that sort of knocked me. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. I think about it every day for the last 10 years. That doesn't go away in a good way. It's positive now, but I remember it was a sunny day, and it took it and just collapsed. And when I woke up, it was like the middle of the night, so it was like 6 or 8 hours had passed, and yeah, had this massive dream while I was unconscious. That sort of took me through my whole life journey, from a young age to where I was now, and everything in between.
Fuck, sort of like your life flashing past your eyes.
It was like you hear about it. People that nearly die, life flashes in front of their eyes. Yeah, I had that sort of moment where I ran through the whole life and asking questions myself of what was happening and stuff, and what was I doing? Like, what are you doing with your life? Or, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you can't go. You got shit to do. You got people that love you. Got these little kids that are my friends. They just absolutely love me, and I was gonna be selfish and just leave this earth. And so, with that thought, like this, I don't know how long this dream was, or a split second or whatever. I was just like, I can't leave these little kids. They look up to me.
Who are the little kids?
I got a real good girlfriend and a mate, and it's their kids. I've been friends with them for about half my life, 25 years or something like that. It's just their kids.
Right. So
Yeah.
why did they? See, this is the funny thing. So you were loathing yourself at that point.
Yeah.
What did they see in you that you couldn't see in yourself?
They always just saw. They just always saw this.
Yeah,
They saw. Yeah. Because even through all my shit, there's been a good person inside. And like when I was down there by myself, like just crying because I was depressed and stuff like that, I would I'd ring them up and be like, I need help. I need some help. And like these little kids would come on and be like, I love you, Uncle Rich. I can't wait to see you.
Yeah.
And that they'd like give you enough energy to go through another week or something. And you'd be like, oh yeah. And then that would fade again. And so that cycle just keep on going. So that's just the short version of why those people were like so instrumental in making that change. And when I was dreaming there, and when I woke up, I was just like, fuck, I've got to do it for my boy. So yeah, like he I was like his hero, like big, strong guy, even though I wasn't not as big as I am now.
Yeah, because this is before your weightlifting journey, right?
Yeah. So that was the drive to get out of the hole. One of them was just to show this little boy that I could be the man that he wanted me to be.
Yeah. Be a person. Be the person that he thought you were. That he saw in you. That you just didn't see in yourself.
Yeah, I didn't see it myself.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of times I just stand in front of the mirror, and I wouldn't even know. I couldn't even recognize this person. Like, it literally looked like a different person that I was talking to in the mirror.
How do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, I just didn't recognize him. Like, it was a different person. Like, I'd have conversations, and I was just like, I don't know who you are. So that's the sort of battles that I was having at that time. Yeah, it was a strange concept. I think about that quite a lot.
Well, yeah. What do you mean? Is there any way you can elaborate on that? Like, do you mean you'd gone so far away from who you knew you were at your core, or who you thought you should be at your core?
I think that's what it was. Yeah, like I was this sad, skinny, drug fucked person, gaunt, and just my life was over. Like, well, not yet, but it was down the toilet, and I was just looking. I was like, "What's happened to you? What? You used to be all these things. Like you used to be a sports person doing karate and loving life and lots of friends, and now you're just sitting in this bedroom for months on end, not talking to anyone, locked away from the world. So yeah, it was just a different person. Like it was quite an out of experience. Yeah, it wasn't even like there was no drugs. There was just depression. I was just looking, and I just didn't know who I was. Completely lost my way.
Yeah, it's funny, because you get depressed, and then you do things that I suppose numb the pain, but they make you more depressed, take you further away from your potential.
Yes.
Whereas it's how the spiral begins.
That's a good word. Take you away from your potential.
Yeah.
Because I've always had a lot of potential, but not applied it. So that's a good point there. Yeah.
So you shoot up that massive load of heroin in an attempt to take your own life. When that goes in your arm, are you thinking, "Thank God this is going to be it," or are you like, "Oh fuck, what have I done"?
No.
Can you remember? Did you think anything at the time, or were you just like,
No, it was just like it works like that. Like
Okay.
it goes straight to the system, and just you basically.
okay, like a split second sort of thing?
Yeah, you collapse
Right.
basically straight away. Yeah, I was doing it standing up, and I woke up on the kitchen floor. But yeah, no. At the time, going in, it was just like, yeah, this is going to be a good one. No regrets. Just go for it. But obviously, after when I got out the other side, I was just like, I'm glad that didn't work.
Dodged a bullet, as they say.
Yeah.
It's quite funny, because I suppose you could be either two ways. I suppose if you were like truly suicidal, you'd wake up and think, "Oh, still here."
Yeah.
But for you waking up and going, "Right, I got to take drastic action. This is no fucking good." I suppose it means that you didn't actually want to
No.
exit.
No, and I think about that every day. Like, it's been 10 years. I got this tattoo just
Little
here.
X on your right wrist.
Yeah, for 10 years, just after the going to the Strongman Games, just to mark that anniversary. And I think about it every day, about how lucky I am that I get a second chance, and how good life actually is. Like when you take time to appreciate every little thing, like just walking outside, I see the trees, I appreciate those every day. Every day I'm grateful for just being alive, for waking up. Because once upon a time I didn't want to wake up, you know? And now I'm grateful every morning to wake up. And everything is good, eh?
Yeah.
Like, everything is good.
Well, that's the thing. If you practice gratitude and start to look for those little moments, like you mentioned before, the trees, which is like a lot of people can get through the day. You're looking at your phone, or you're walking around and wrapped up in your own shit, and you may not even notice things like the trees. But if you start to practice gratitude, and then you find you start to notice even more little things. Or you'll sip a coffee, and you'll be like, "This is a good coffee."
Ah, yes.
Just being present, being
every
in the
little thing, being grateful for it. Like, don't take anything for granted, because like every day is not guaranteed. Like tomorrow could be your last day.
Yeah.
So just make the most of it. Yeah.
So we'll wind the clock right back. So what were you like in your teens? What were you like at school?
In school,
Yeah.
I'll say I was pretty good looking, pretty good with the ladies. Is that what we're talking about? No?
No, were you a bad kid, a good kid?
Nah.
Just a normal, average, standard?
I didn't really apply myself.
Yeah.
I did have enough brains to pass exams without studying, but I didn't apply myself. I was just a little bit loose and free there. I ended up dropping out of high school actually, and yeah, everyone would say I was a pretty good cat.
Yeah.
They all love me. I've got some amazing friendships to this day from high school. So I think that says a lot about who you are. That you can bring those through 20, 25 years.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never trust anyone that only has new friends, eh?
Yeah, new friends all the time. Can throw up a few flags.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everyone has their own story, so
Yeah.
you can't judge anyone. Some people go through a lot.
Yeah.
Like at me, at one stage, I'd lost a lot of my friends when I was dealing with my shit.
I suppose you just sort of like, even if it's not consciously, you just sort of push them away a bit.
Yeah, you go and hide because you don't want them to see you. You don't want to deal with that stuff, and you don't want to lie. Because when you're dealing with depression, you become a great actor.
Like wearing a mask? How do you
every day you go out and you got to put on the front, and everyone thinks life's going good and it's okay, and then you get back home and it's like, oh fuck, that was tiring and stuff. So you get tired of doing that. So that's what you start hiding yourself away.
So you just say people ask how you are, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm all good.
Yeah,
that's
pretty classic New Zealand response, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah, but you mentioned before with when you're talking about your friends that have got the kids that really look up to you, like you'd say to them, "I need help."
Yeah,
yeah. Did that just come towards the tail end of your depression that you became good at asking for help? Or
nah. Because I'm pretty lucky. This girl, she's been a girlfriend since I was a teenager, so that's I don't know, we'll say 25, 30 years, and we've always gone out for coffees and caught up over the years and just talked and stuff like that. So I'm quite lucky to have someone close like that I could just talk to. So that's why I could reach out.
Yeah.
But I try to reach out a few other times actually to some friends and families, and because I suffered like domestic abuse in my marriage and stuff like that, like physical abuse and stuff like that. I tried to tell some people about that. They sort of laughed it off and like, I can't, right, like, just get back in there. You don't need to worry about this stuff. And so I done that a couple of times.
Did they really laugh it off just because it's like, oh, come on, you can, whatever. Yeah. You can just like grab her wrists or whatever. Yeah. Although, by the way, so this is your previous relationship, your partner now, like she's a Commonwealth Games boxer. Yeah. If you told anyone you were a victim of domestic violence there, I think they'd take that seriously. She would fuck you up, I reckon.
She dropped some bombs, but when you get to meet her, that's why I love her. She's an absolute angel in real life, and then changes to this absolute beast in the ring, which is amazing. Which is amazing.
Yeah, controlled aggression. Yeah, it's what you need.
Yeah, because I only deal with calm people, relaxed people, good people now. I don't have time for this bravado, pretending and stuff. Pick up on the good vibes, and those are the sort of people that I have in my life now.
Yeah.
Like my fiance. Yeah.
So the reason I asked what you like at school, just doubling back to that, is because in the mid-90s, when you're 17, you lose your older brother in a car accident.
Yeah.
So he was quite a bit older. Did he feel like an older brother, or did he feel like an uncle? He was like, you were 17, he was 27.
Yeah. So
big age gap at that age.
Big age gap. I've got 3 brothers. They're all sort of 10 years plus.
Accident.
Or Mum just didn't have a good one, so she just had one last try, and she got this
the miracle child.
Miracle child. Yeah. He was 10 years older than me, so I was, and the closest one to me, so I was quite close to him, and he died in a car crash when I was 17. I'd already dropped out of school there, and we lost him in that car crash, and that had, from that point on, that had quite a big effect on me, I think.
Yeah, you think that was, if you had to pinpoint like a turning, I know you said you've done a lot of work. Do you think you can pinpoint that as the moment?
I think tracking back, after going through all my therapy and stuff, that's probably one of the catalysts of my depression. And I didn't really notice it from that age in my early 20s because I was just running away, partying and having a good time and not really dealing with life. I try to...
Do you think there was like standard early 20 stuff, or do you think you like your brother's death was like a catalyst in that?
Yeah, I thought I was going to die the same way as my brother when I reached 27.
Why did you think that?
I don't know why I thought that. I think it was the relationship that I had with my brother, that I loved him so much.
Right.
That I spent a lot more time with him than my other brothers, and he's basically an identical twin, but 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I just had that closeness, and I don't know where I got that thought from, but it's something that stayed with me all through my 20s until I, about 27 years old, I decided to go visit my brother's grave, because I'd never been to his grave before.
Why had you? So 10 years had passed. Why hadn't you been? Too hard.
Too hard. Just didn't really want to. A little bit, maybe a little bit raw. But I always carried him here. I believe in a little bit of spirituality where you carry the people close to you in here once they're passed. So I always knew he was close to me and my thoughts and stuff. But I decided I should go have a visit, and it ended up being about the 10-year anniversary, which was when I was like 27, 28, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, so this is when you thought you were going to die at the same age. Like, do you think there was a moment there where you thought, oh, okay, shit, I'm not going to die at this age?
Yeah, I was sitting there having a chat with him on the grave site there, and I looked up and I was like, oh shit, I thought I was going to be dead by this time. Maybe there is a little bit more to life. Maybe I've got a little bit more in me. So I had to sort of change my life a little bit then, and redirect myself and stop doing the party and living fast and hard, and sort of try and knuckle down a little bit. So yeah, that was probably where I started, and I was going through my therapy and stuff at that time as well. So all that.
Well, yeah. What was the catalyst to get you started on that? Oh, was that the relationship breakup?
No, it was probably getting married got me into therapy. Yeah, in a funny way. It was probably a bad thing at the time, but probably ended up being the best thing for me.
Right.
Yeah, so I was just trying to deal with the whole life and probably deal with choosing the wrong person to marry.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you look back on that relationship, because I sort of think you bring people that, I don't know, maybe not you what you deserve, but you attract a certain person into your life at a certain time. Like your fiance at the moment, Ari, you both seem beautifully happy, and she's sitting in the room with us and she's supporting you. So you obviously had to be in the right frame of mind yourself to attract someone as amazing as her into your life. So do you look back on the toxic relationship and recognise any part that you played in bringing that person into your life?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You nailed it there. It's like you attract what you are at that time, and at that time in my life, I wasn't in a good space, so I didn't attract the best things into my life. Made a few bad decisions there, and so I didn't get what I deserved, but I got what I put out to the world.
Yeah.
Like you said, now life is good, and I've got an amazing fiance, because life is good, and I'm putting out the good and getting the good back.
Yeah. And she's beautiful, and she could fuck you up. She won't, but she could. Just know that, okay?
If she wanted to, she could probably throw good bombs.
If you ever cheat on her or anything, you mess with her.
Why would I? Look at her. She's a goddess. Yeah.
Okay, so you reach rock bottom in Christchurch with that suicide attempt. How long after that does the strongman journey begin?
So
It's like pretty instant, or?
Nah, it's not instant at all. I did. So I was down there living in an apartment by myself, and I basically just locked myself in an apartment for 3-4 months because I couldn't trust myself to go outside.
What do you mean?
Just temptations, drinking, and drugs, and that. So
How are you getting by? Like, what were you doing for money?
I had a little bit of savings.
Right.
Yeah. Which luckily I didn't squander at that time. So I managed to just bring food in. I literally part of my rehab would be I'd watch an hour of something scientific on YouTube, and then I'd do about an hour of religion, just like all sorts of religions, just to learn the spirituality side of things, and then about an hour of some sort of self-help stuff, and then I'd always finish it off with some sort of stand-up comedy or something like that, about an hour of that. I did that every day.
Where did you get that idea from?
just sitting by myself.
Yeah, right.
in my
Just a
house.
plan you came up with
I
on
was,
your
I,
own.
was, I just need to start thinking properly.
Yeah.
Need to get on top of it. So the first thing was like, I have to do some self-help. I was like, and I need to be able to laugh again because I wasn't laughing. So those are quite important to me. And then I was like, there's always something that you can find in all the different religions. So I just started studying all those as well. And
And you ended up, you're a Scientologist now, I believe. So you ended up settling on Scientology.
yeah, I'm number 2 behind Tom. So yeah, we can sort you out there. I'm definitely a little bit more spiritual now.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite a hippie or anything like that, but I'm definitely believe in like that. What you put out is what you get back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that for quite a few months, and that was down in Christchurch by myself, and then I ran out of money. So
Had to happen sooner or later.
Had to happen sooner or later. So I ended up back at my mum's place up in Hamilton. I moved in there for a couple of weeks. I was like, Mum, I just need to sort myself out. I hadn't told her at this stage, like until I got back up to Hamilton. I was like, oh, this is what's happened. I just need a little bit of help. And she was like, what do you need? I was like, I just need a couple of weeks to get here. Because I was in a slightly better place, so I was like, I'll get a job. So I managed to find a job, which I was pretty lucky at quite quickly. And then Mum was like, wait, get out. You said you're only going to be here for 2 weeks. It's like 3 weeks now. I was like, oh.
3 weeks? Oh, Mum.
I was like,
really?
I was like, Mum, I haven't even got paid yet.
Are you
like,
being honest about the timeline? Wow, she really wanted you out.
I think she's pretty funny. I think she was pretty funny. She wouldn't kick me out. But yeah, she gave me a couple extra weeks. So she gave me 4 weeks there, and then I managed to get a job and find an apartment. And so I literally had nothing. I had a suitcase and my snowboard and the car that I drove. So that's all I had. So I had to build my life up again, one brick at a time. So I started off with the things that were most important for recovery and your mental health, which was number one was sleep. So my first paycheck, I bought the best bed that I could afford with that one paycheck. And then the next thing was I bought some knife and forks and some pots and pans, and like really nice ones, and just started cooking all my food instead of eating shit and takeaways and stuff like that. So I did all that meal prep, and then the third thing was just started to get back in the gym.
Yeah.
And that's where it started. Right from there, just going in, having control of doing each rep, each set, day after day after day. And that's all I did for 3 years when I lived in Hamilton. Just gym was everything. I slowly started to reconnect with a few friends and starting to get some sort of life back together. Obviously, I was a little bit jaded from what I'd been through, so my friendships were a little bit hard to work on there, but we got there. Reconnected with a few old people, got a few new people in there, so that was real good. And then, like I said, I was back in Hamilton. That's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be over at the Mount, living at the beach, lifting weights, find a hot girlfriend or something.
No, by the way, just not that there's anything wrong with Hamilton. Shout out to our Hamilton listeners. It's a great place.
I go visit. But if you want to live anywhere, you want to live at the beach, mate.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Something about it's good for the soul. I'm from Palmerston North, which is landlocked like Hamilton.
okay,
There is something about being close to the beach, eh?
yeah. I'm not sure if I'd go Palmy or Hamilton.
Oh no, Hamilton's a lot better than
not
Palmy.
sure, yeah.
yeah.
But I got over to Hamilton. Oh, no, sorry. I got over to Papamoa. I moved over there, and that's where I had a massive growth. Like I'd done that hard 3 years in Hamilton,
Yeah.
and then just being at the beach, just catapulted me.
Like exponential growth.
Exponential.
What do you think that was?
It was just the ability to reconnect with the ocean and the sand and slowing down life. Like I brought the calm to my life. Being able to sit on the beach, wash away the days in the ocean, just really relax, really relax. No big cities, nothing like that. It was just nice and quiet. Gave me time to lift weights, relax, and start to meet some good people. Yeah.
And a lot of people are going to be listening to this going, oh, okay, well, that sounds very nice. Relaxing on the beach, lifting weights, rinse, repeat. How do you afford that? How are you funding that?
Well, obviously, I still work. I got a day job as a project engineer.
Okay.
So I've got
Okay, so you're just prioritising these things then.
Yeah.
You've got the normal day-to-day commitments like everyone else.
Yeah, well, I've got a beautiful work-life balance.
Yeah.
And our employees, I work for Trimax, they prioritise work-life balance as well. They don't want people burning themselves out, so it's a real good mix. They allow me to take time off and train for strongman and travel. So I couldn't really ask for anything more there. I could always do it for some more money to help chase these strongman dreams and stuff like that. Slowly working on that.
I feel like it's something we're all working on, mate.
Yeah. Like every sports person in New Zealand, there's not enough money to go around.
Yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
always trying to find it, eh?
Sports people and podcasters, never enough money to go around. So are you on any sort of meds now, or were you ever on meds for the mental health?
I was. I can't remember what they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was popping a handful of pills every day.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I can't remember what they were, but they were quite strong ones.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of people like that have like a true chemical imbalance in their brain, and they need medication to balance it out. And they might be on medication for the rest of their life. But then there's a lot of people who actually probably almost everyone, I think, that at some point in your life something's going to rock you, and you're going to have like circumstantial mental health issues.
Yes.
Like maybe it's a shitty relationship or a job loss or something. Like no one gets out of life scot-free, and for those people like you and for me, you don't necessarily need medication. I think you can get your way out of it with just a good mental health plan. Like build that resilience, get some good structure. It's amazing that you had that thing about like an hour of religion a day and an hour of comedy and an hour of self-help.
Yeah,
that was a good plan.
Yeah, it was. I had lots of time, so it's a little bit harder to get 4 hours of my day to sit down and watch YouTube now. Yeah, but like I had a conversation with my psychiatrist. I just like, I think I want to stop the pills. I think I've got this. And she's like, okay, we can try that. And so we stopped it, and so I told her what I wanted to do, and it seemed to work. And 10 years no medication now, and I'm perfectly happy.
Amazing.
That was good.
Oh, good for you. And not that I'm shaming anyone that's on medication. Like my brother in Perth, he's on antidepressants, and he was like, I'm feeling really good, I'm going to get off them. And as soon as he got off them, he was like, oh no, that's why I was feeling good.
yeah, they can have
so
that effect on you.
Yeah. So for some people, it's a necessity, but if you can get by without them, I think it's an admirable thing.
Yeah, sometimes it's chemical imbalance, and
yeah,
you got to do a lot of work though. If you're in that sort of state of mind, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to be happy. You've got to actually practice something and learn how to handle your emotions. And yeah, I agree. And it's I think it's different for everyone. You got to work out what's right for you, and what's right for you may not be right for the next person. No. So the strongman thing, why that? Out of all the things in the world you could do, seems like you're good at maybe you've got an addictive personality, or maybe you're good at like True.
setting your mind on something and fixating on it and doing it. But out of all the things to do, why the fuck that?
I have got a laser focused mind when I pick what I want to do. I've done that all my life. When I decide I want to do something, I do it. This one, I sort of just stumbled across it actually.
What do you mean, on a TV thing or at the gym or?
Close. I was obviously lifting weights. I've been lifting weights religiously for 3 years, so I'd built a pretty good foundation. And then I was just scrolling on Facebook, and I saw this comp up in Otara when I was living in Papua. I was like, oh yeah, go do some deadlifts. I love deadlifts, and there was this log which was in the strongman thing. I was like, I don't even know what that is. How hard can it be? And I just jumped in my car, shot up to Otara.
So you were reasonably big then? You'd been lifting weights for a while? No.
No, that was maybe 90 kgs.
Right.
90 kgs. And I just went up there and found this like little gym that was tucked away in this sketchy ass place with all these mechanics and stuff. And I was driving down the driveway. I was like, what the hell is this place? This looks like some kind of a movie or something. And then I found it, and I just sort of popped my head in the window, and there's an absolute massive Samoans smashing the biggest weights. I was just like, holy shit. And then they saw me, I was like, oh. They're like, what do you want? I was like, hey, I'm just here to lift some weights. And I was like, come on in here, little white boy.
They were probably like, oh, we thought it was the Uber Eats guy.
Yeah, I probably looked like one back then. Now I eat all the Uber Eats. But so they took me in, and we lifted some weights and did that comp, and I did okay in my first comp, and I was addicted. So addicted personality. I was just like, I love this shit.
What do you mean you did okay?
I won some prizes. I didn't win in my division, but I won some prizes.
Right.
I did okay on my lifts compared to everyone else. I was like, oh yeah, I've got something here. And so then I just started buying all the equipment down in Papamoa, and I kept in touch with the crew at the Otara Strength Pit, and it's been 7 years of a family friendship there and lifting weights, and it just got bigger, and like I said, just built. I got addicted from it. I just tried to do every comp I could in that first year, because I actually suffer from anxiety. So for me to compete in front of everyone used to be quite nerve-wracking, and I decided, I was like, this is what I want to do. So if I'm going to do it, I better get good at it. So for the first year, I competed in every strongman, powerlifting comp that I could find. Like, I was doing a couple a month. I was just like, I just got to get out in front of people and try to get used to it. And now I love that shit. I've just got this alter ego, the madness, and when it's time to lift, I'm like, switch on. I just go out and lift weights, and yeah,
so it is. It's like the wrestlers we talked about right at the beginning.
Yeah,
like an alter ego.
Definitely. It helps me immensely. Yeah, because you sort of, when you're going through that mental health stuff, you're battling with all that, the sad depression and stuff like that, and you're trying to lift some weights, so you have to try switch that off.
Yeah.
And concentrate on lifting weights, which is a good escape for a little bit, as long as you're only escaping to do that, and then you're dealing with your shit later on.
Yeah.
So that was sort of me. I was just like, escape that stuff, become the madness, lift some weights, and I just continued that through the last 7 years, and it works a treat for me.
Amazing. And what's the goal? Like, how far can you take this thing?
I would love to win New Zealand's Strongest Man in the Opens. That's why I'm trying to get bigger. Hopefully I'm going to get up to 130 kgs this year. That's quite small, by the way. Like when I went to Worlds, I was the smallest person over there at 125 kgs, and the next smallest person was like 140, 150 kgs, and then it goes up from there. So
how much, is it all muscle, or how much of it's fat?
There's a little bit of fluff.
Right.
A little bit of fluff.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the strongest men competitions, it's like these big dudes, everyone's got an engine, right?
Yeah. You got to have an engine for some events, but it just depends on what you're doing. Yeah. But you try not to get too fluffy. Yeah, there's got to be a lot of muscle underneath that fluff. Yeah, it can't just be fluff. So yeah, the goal is to be the strongest man in New Zealand. Like I said, I'm in the top 10 at the moment. I'll just keep on pushing that. I'm 44, so I'm also in the Masters. So I compete internationally at that level. New Zealand, well, I passed out at the last comp, but yeah, I'll win that this year. Write that down. We'll get back to that one. I went over to Oz earlier this year and won the AS International Masters comp over there. So yeah, that's where I'm heading. Clean up the Masters and try dominate the Opens.
Amazing. Is there an age where you sort of reach your peak in the sport?
Sort of that 30, 40s is when you peak in that old man strength.
Right. Old man, what do you mean?
I don't know.
What does old man strength mean?
You know, like, just guys Guys are strong when they're old.
Right.
Yeah. And that 40 age bracket is right on the money.
Right.
But there's some top guys that are still like 52, still banging it with
kicking
the young
ass.
fellas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so as long as you look after the body, you can keep going. And my body's holding up pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you keep moving, it'll keep working for you.
Like, what, for any gym people that are listening to this, what do you lift? Can you give us an idea in terms of like a squat or a bench or a deadlift?
Bench, I don't really do much bench, but last time was 175 kgs.
Right.
Squat 250, deadlift 345, pull 15-ton trucks, lift 200 kg stones, stuff like that.
Fuck.
Yeah, good for landscaping, lifting those big stones.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you got a career after this.
Yeah.
You could be a furniture remover, a landscape gardener.
I do a bit of landscaping at home. That's quite good. Just like pick up the whole tree instead of cutting it down. Just carry the whole tree out of the yard.
You get a job for like AA breakdown services where you're just pushing cars or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
So do you win any money? What's the prize at these events? Is there any, or is it just for the prestige and the
Prizes for the glory?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now when you get to like New Zealand's Strongest Man, and obviously over in the States, a few thousand, might be $5,000 or something.
Okay,
like that.
not enough to cover the
But it
expenses.
doesn't even cover
Right.
a few months' food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So always got to try to work on that. Obviously, if you do a few more comps, you might collect a few more money, but you got to win.
Yeah.
You don't get money for coming last.
Yeah. Shit, it must be a crazy. How did you and your fiance Ari meet? So you're in this bizarre sport, strongman. She's a boxer, as I said, competed at the Commonwealth Games, almost made it to the Olympics. How did you guys get together?
Oh, well,
Tinder, Bumble.
When you're single, you got to do a little bit of hunting on the Tinder.
Oh, right,
And you do go through a few baddies, and if you're lucky enough, you might just come across a queen, and I caught a queen, and it was magic. That was 3.5 years ago.
What was it? Like how does that work? Do you have to match on each other, or did you
just got to match on each other?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so were you?
I made the first move.
I've got some friends that used to like play the numbers game. So they'd swipe right. Swipe right's the good swipe.
I can't remember. It's been so long.
Is it? Or do you click a tick button or no? What do you?
There's some swiping.
Okay.
I can't remember which
So
way.
assume swipe right's the good one.
Yeah, we'll say right.
Okay.
Say right.
I had friends that would just like swipe on everyone without even looking at them, and they'd say, okay, once you get enough matches, then you can, just date on mass and find someone. Were you like that, or were you more discerning?
Nah, I'd only swiped 2 times, and then I went on a date with someone else first, and that didn't work out luckily. And then my second match was Ari.
Oh, I'm calling bullshit on this. Is that true?
It was true for the second time that I was on Tinder.
Yeah.
So I did go off it for a little while because I had some terrible stories. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm off dating. But when I got back on, it was sort of true. Yeah.
So you match. You're talking for a while before you meet. You send her a dick pic.
Yeah, something like that.
No.
I think I sent her a lifting video or something.
I left.
Nah. And then we just met down at the Mount Hot Pools. You know the ones?
Yeah,
Around
right at
there
the foot of the
from out
mountain, of course.
Yeah, and she wanted to do it because she just wanted to check me out, make sure that I was legit, looked like my photos. So had to get me in my Speedos. So we're down there and we just met down at the pools and had a chat, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Amazing.
It was a beautiful match.
Must be. Must help each other, both being competitive people. If someone's having a flat day, the other person lifts them up, vice versa.
Yeah, that's really been magic.
Yeah.
Both for Ari and myself. Because I'd had previous girlfriends where I was trying to commit to strongman and taking a lot of time, and then coaching some people doing strongman. So a lot of my time went into that, and there was a big strain on the relationship. But then meeting Ari, who's someone that's dedicated, she trains more than I do. She walks in the door at about 8:30, 9 o'clock every night during the week. And so it was just really good to have someone that's focused on the same goals, and it's just like, whatever it takes, you got to go do it. You go do it, I'll be here. Yeah, so it just makes life so much easier. Eh?
Awesome.
Two
And
people going in the same direction.
Yeah. And actually, Ari, come over here. Come over here for a quick. Is she being shy? No,
She's always shy.
I'm a little bit shy.
She's always shy.
What's where are things that come in here? So you can camera. Where are things at with your boxing? What's next?
So just taking a little break. I come back from Com Games and needed a bit of a rest and recovery. I got a back injury, so I've just had cortisone injection about 7 days ago. But be back into it soon. Come back faster and fitter and stronger, hopefully.
Nice. How did the how'd you go at the Commonwealth Games?
It was amazing. I first round was up against the Olympic bronze medalist, so very tough opponent from India. So she ended up coming out better off, but yeah, it was incredible, amazing first experience.
Yeah, oh, good stuff. And you what's your next aspiration? Is it Olympics?
Unfortunately, at this stage, I not unfortunately that I turned 40 this year, but as an amateur boxer, that once you turn 40, you can't box.
Right.
So I had 4 pro fights, so the plan is to turn pro again. Yeah, go from there.
Amazing. Oh, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And when are you guys getting married?
2025. Yeah.
2023. Oh, you're good. Don't rush into it.
Nah.
But you got a date set?
March.
March-ish.
Yeah. Nah.
Oh, amazing. Hey, well, you seem like a great couple. You seem really good for each other.
I think so.
And it's been great to meet you today. The madness.
Yeah, it's been great to meet you too, Dom. Thanks for it.
One of New Zealand's strongest men physically, but I think also emotionally and mentally maybe as well.
I like to think that's one of my strengths, is my mental strength. And I hope to help a lot of other people with that as well, especially lifting and friends and family and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Rich Farrell. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.